What if I told you that the VA could reduce or even eliminate your disability rating tomorrow, and most veterans have no idea it's coming? Stay with me because I'm about to reveal the secret strategies that some VA raters don't want you to know about protecting your hard-earned rating. Here's something that will shock you. The VA conducts routine examinations on veterans, and if they find any improvement in your condition, they can reduce your rating almost immediately. But here's the kicker. Most of these reductions happen because veterans unknowingly sabotage themselves during these exams. Let me tell you about Chris, a Navy veteran with a 70% rating for PTSD and back injuries. He received a letter for a routine exam, thought it was just a formality, and showed up unprepared. During the exam, he mentioned he'd been feeling better lately, and was working out regularly. 3 months later, his rating dropped to 30%, costing him over $1,000 monthly. The devastating part? This was completely preventable. The first thing you need to understand is that the VA has 3 main reasons for scheduling these examinations. They call them compensation and pension exams, or C&P exams for short. The first reason is routine examinations, which typically happen every few years for certain conditions. The second is when you file for an increase, and the third is when someone reports that your condition has improved. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Many veterans think these routine exams are just checkups, but they're actually full evaluations where the examiner is looking for any signs of improvement. The VA uses these opportunities to potentially reduce ratings and save money. Understanding this mindset shift is crucial to protecting yourself. The most dangerous mistake veterans make is being too honest about their good days. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but hear me out. When an examiner asks how you're doing, your natural instinct might be to mention that you had a few good days last week. But to the VA, this translates to improvement, even if you've had 20 bad days in between. Here's a strategy that works every time. When describing your condition, always focus on your worst days, not your best ones. If you have PTSD and the examiner asks about your sleep, don't mention the one night you slept 6 hours. Talk about the typical nights when you're up every 2 hours, sweating and reliving traumatic memories. This isn't lying. It's accurately representing the reality of living with your condition. Another critical mistake is showing up to exams looking too put together. I know a veteran named Jennifer who spent extra time getting ready for her exam because she wanted to make a good impression. She wore her best outfit, did her hair perfectly, and arrived early. The examiner noted that she appeared well-groomed and functioning normally. Her anxiety rating was reduced from 50 to 30% based partly on this observation. The truth is, your appearance matters more than you think. If you're claiming depression or anxiety, showing up looking like you're ready for a job interview sends the wrong message. This doesn't mean you should look inappropriate, but don't go out of your way to look better than you normally would on a difficult day. Now, let me share something that could save your rating. Before any C&P exam, document everything about your condition for the 2 weeks leading up to the appointment. Write down your pain levels, sleep patterns, anxiety episodes, and how your disabilities affect your daily activities. This documentation becomes your roadmap for accurately describing your condition during the exam. Here's a secret that most veterans never learn. The examiner often asks seemingly casual questions that are actually designed to assess your functional capacity. Questions like, "How did you get here today?" or "Have you been working?" aren't small talk. They're gathering information about your ability to function. If you drove yourself, they might note that your mobility isn't as limited as claimed. If you mention any work activity, even volunteer work, they could interpret this as improved functioning. The key is to answer these questions truthfully, but completely. If you drove to the exam but it caused you significant pain and you had to stop 3 times to stretch your back, include that information. If you do volunteer work but can only manage 2 hours before your symptoms become overwhelming, explain the full picture. Here's something that will surprise you about VA examiners. Many of them are not VA employees. They're often contracted doctors who might not fully understand VA disability law or the rating criteria for your specific condition. Some have quotas or incentives that could influence their recommendations. Knowing this helps you understand why being your own advocate is so important. One of the most powerful protection strategies is bringing a witness to your exam. You have the right to bring someone with you, and this person can serve as an independent observer of how the examination was conducted. They can also help remind you of important details about your condition that you might forget to mention due to anxiety or brain fog. Let me tell you about David, an Army veteran who brought his spouse to his PTSD reevaluation. During the exam, he became overwhelmed and couldn't articulate how his nightmares were affecting him. His wife was able to provide specific examples of how his sleep disturbances impacted their entire household and his daily functioning. his rating remained at 70%, whereas he might have faced a reduction if he'd gone alone. Here's a crucial point about timing. If you receive notice of a C&P exam and your condition has genuinely worsened since your last evaluation, this is actually an opportunity to file for an increase before the exam. The VA must consider any new evidence you submit, and this could work in your favor rather than against you. Now, let's talk about what happens after the exam. You have the right to request a copy of the examination report. Review it carefully for any errors or misrepresentations of what you said. If there are inaccuracies, you can submit a written statement correcting these errors. Many veterans skip this step and later regret it when their rating gets reduced based on incorrect information. Here's something critical that could prevent a reduction. If you disagree with an examination report, you can request a second opinion or an independent medical examination. The VA doesn't always approve these requests, but having your own medical evidence from your treating physicians can carry significant weight in disputing unfavorable findings. One strategy that consistently works is maintaining regular treatment with your healthcare providers. Veterans who see their doctors regularly and have current medical records documenting ongoing symptoms are much less likely to face rating reductions. The VA gives more weight to ongoing treatment records than to a single examination. Here's a shocking truth about VA rating reductions. Sometimes they happen due to administrative errors or outdated information in your file. Regularly reviewing your VA records and correcting any inaccuracies can prevent automatic reductions that shouldn't have happened in the first place. Let me share the most important protection strategy of all. Never assume your rating is permanent unless you've received what's called a protected rating. Even ratings that seem stable for years can be subject to review and reduction. Staying informed about your rights and maintaining documentation of your ongoing disabilities is your best defense. The bottom line is this: protecting your VA rating requires understanding the system and being proactive about your approach. The strategies I've shared today have helped thousands of veterans maintain their ratings and avoid devastating reductions. Remember, your disability rating represents recognition of your service-connected sacrifices. You earned these benefits, and you have every right to protect them using the legal strategies available to you. If you found this information valuable, make sure to check out our Unlock More VA Money playlist where we dive deeper into advanced strategies for maximizing your VA benefits. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these protection strategies you found most surprising. Have you ever faced a rating reduction, or are you currently dealing with a C&P exam? Your experience could help other veterans in the comments. The VA system can be complex and intimidating, but with the right knowledge and preparation, you can successfully protect the benefits you've earned through your service to our country.